Welcome in one and all to this. You know what? I just realized something. My headphones are fritzy. This is not a good way to, it's not a good way to end the year. That's for sure. Hi, everybody. I am Pugs Moran. We are live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's Design District. I sit here every day around this time. That seems to be a little better. Headphone earbud was getting a little janky. I sit here every day around this time and I give you all the day's headlines, the hot topics, whatever it is that they're screaming about on the idiot box. I'll tell you about it. Now, we don't do politics and we don't get to all that. Well, look, I am a very disagreeable individual. I have opinions, right? And I share them. But, I think that most of my opinions, first of all, I don't get into politics. So my opinions, you don't need to hear what I think about Trump, Biden, Vance, Obama, Bannon, Giuliani, although sometimes some of these people do interesting things that we have to mention. But that's not what this show is about on a day-to-day basis. It's just about talking about the other shit that we can all get spun up about. Fun stuff. The day fence, I call it neighborly fence line conversation. Kind of conversation you have over the fence with your neighbor. You don't want to piss them off. So that's what we do here every day. We've been doing it for 3 years. 3 years every day, Monday through Friday. Ugh. But today's going to be a little bit different. Today is the first show in all of those 3 years that we're doing a little something different. And today's show, because it's New Year's Eve, and I don't know what the hell is happening in the world. Carter is still dead. Looks like Brad and Angelina. It looks like their divorce is being finalized after 8 years. What else? I don't even know what's happening today. I didn't even bother. You know why? Because I've spent the last 2 days going through the entire year of 2024. Now, I thought it was going to be easy. I was like, you know what? I was looking forward to it. My night last night was going to be, I was going to go home, and every morning that I wake up, as I say, we've been doing this for 3 years. Every morning when I wake up, I make a page on my Google Drive for that day and all of the news stories that we're going to talk about. Viral videos, whatever, the stuff that people are talking about in any particular day from the last year. So I went home last night and I thought, I'm just going to go through all the days. Oh my God, it was so much harder than I thought. I'll tell you this much, it was 9 o'clock and I had just gotten to May. It was 9 o'clock. I started at like 5. 4 hours later, I had just gotten to May. So I was like, fuck this. This is hard. So I put it down, my boy and I, 15 years old. By the way, New Year's Eve tonight over at my place, it's there was some concern that, I often say that I have not had a New Year's Eve in 14 years since my son was born, because every New Year's Eve, he and I spend it together. And he's getting older now. So my concern is that he's got a girlfriend and stuff. He wants to be with them. And there's probably some party, he's a sophomore in high school. I think I was going to parties then. I was, but no, we are going to be hanging out tonight at the house. We will be having our annual, I'll tell you all about it. Not tomorrow, because there will not be a show tomorrow. No New Year's Eve show. But Friday, I'll tell you all about it. We're going to do our Olympics, our New Year's Eve Olympics. We've got 4 categories that we're going to be competing in. There will be more categories added. He is right now at home trying to create new categories. The first category is going to be target shooting. We have air guns with paintballs, and we're going to be target shooting out in the alley. 2, what do you call it? Competition 2 is going to be trivia. We are going to play a trivia game. We're doing trivia as the second one because I need one that I can crush him in, and I can totally crush him in, because when it comes to trivia, he's smart with books, but he's 15, so he's dumb with trivia. Like, he didn't even know who Jimmy Carter's vice president was. You're 15. Never heard of Walter Mondale? What? Anyway, so I'm going to crush him in trivia. I think the shooting, that's anyone's game in shooting. I'm going to crush him in that. Or that's a toss-up. So I'm going to crush him in trivia. Then comes powerlifting. Then he's like, no, dude, we're doing powerlifting because we have access to a gym. So I'm like, dude, you bench press over 200 pounds. You're an offensive lineman in Texas high school football. You're giant. You're big. So he's going to get that one. That's all right. That's all right. Because I'm going to give him, he's going to get his butt smoked in trivia. Anyway, we got other ones too. Kitchen soccer is the original sport. Kitchen soccer was what we originally started playing with a round stuffed animal. It's an angry bird. I don't know that we're going to be able to do kitchen soccer now. And this might seem unfair. For years and years, my son and I would have a kitchen soccer tournament on New Year's Eve, and I crushed him. Probably because he was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? I'm just beating his ass. I'm a grown man. I can kick further. I can angle it. He gets upset. Oh, it's terrible. So he wants to do kitchen soccer again today. And I don't think we can do it anymore. He's too big. It's too big. It was cute when he was a little kid and we were playing it in the kitchen. He's too big. It's like, now we play kitchen soccer, the two of us. And now there's like, the oven door gets smashed in because an elbow falls. No, we can't. So we're going to have to come up with something else. Besides, he will kill me in kitchen soccer now. He's just way too athletic. He's just no chance. So that's what we're doing tonight. So we're going to do that. But anyway, we're also tonight going to finish watching Gladiator. When I left you yesterday, I told you I'm trying to get him to watch Gladiator with me because for some reason my 15-year-old really wants to see Gladiator 2, has no interest in Gladiator 1. So I've been forcing him to watch Gladiator 1. Is a big commitment. It's 3 hours plus. So we watched like an hour, the half hour the first night, and then an hour last night. So we'll finish that tonight. We'll finish Gladiator. He's liking it. He's digging it. He's like, yeah, which I knew he would, of course. So after I had compiled all the way up to May, I was like, we're done. We're watching Gladiator. So I woke up this morning. See how this story takes a nice little winding. So I wake up this morning and I pick up the computer and I'm like, I got to finish this. So this morning, starting at about 8 o'clock, I put together May, June, July. I went through all of those months from all the shows that we've done last year. And I've made a nice little list. And I've made a whole bunch of stuff that I think look, these are not the biggest news stories. Look, I'm not going to talk about, I'm not talking politics. I'm not going to talk election. I'm not going to talk about all the debates and George Clooney writing a letter and Biden dropping. I don't care about any of that stuff, all right? Leave that to the historians. We're going to talk the shit we need to remember. We're going to talk the Hawk Tuah girl. We're going to talk Reagan, the Australian. We're going to talk Menendez brothers. We got so much to get into that we probably shouldn't delay any longer. We're going to go through month by month. I'm going to be like, hey, remember this one? And I picked out some weird stories. And I'm hoping that some of you will be like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. And then we're going to go through the deads. We will do a dead segment today. We will do heaven or hell on people who died in 2024. Where did Richard Simmons and Chuck Woolery go? We'll decide. How about Dr. Ruth? Yeah, we'll do that at the end of today's show. All right, so let's get started with everything. I want to say hi to the chat room because you people are the reason for this show all of these years. We do an executive producer every day on the show. The executive producer is the person who tipped the show the best. Biggest tipper of the day gets to be the executive producer. That's how we do it. So if you want to tip the show, I'll put that banner up at some point. But we have an executive producer today, and it's all of you. It's all of you. It's New Year's Eve. I'm so upset. This is the worst thing that could have happened to me on New Year's Eve. My best headphones have just broken. They're not working. They're going in and out in this ear. That is irritating. So I'm going to go back to the backups. I'm going to go back to these. So I'm going to switch my headphones and then we'll get into the show. I'm going to go back to these because they're not going in and out. And that is really irritating. I'm very easily irritated. These headphones are like super old. They come from Edzilla. He's, of course, the owner-operator of Radio Misfits. These are like the best headphones I've ever had. I don't know if they're expensive. They're not expensive. But here's the deal with headphones. This is the most important thing with me. I've been wearing headphones since the 1980s. The most important thing with headphones isn't they were $500. Anytime somebody tells me they got $500 headphones, I laugh at them. As a professional who uses headphones regularly, you're a fool. You're a fool. Studio Sony's simple. You can get them for like $30. They're perfect. And here's why you don't spend $500 on headphones. Right, that's an amateur mistake. That's a rookie thing to do. Here's why you don't spend that much money. Because you're going to use them every day. And guess what? Headphones are real fragile. Real fragile. Oh, they break. These ones though, that's Ed Silla gave me. These are baller headphones. These things just do not break. You can see, I got them taped together. There's like tape and shit holding these things together. They're so old. That's why they're the backups now. The good ones are now dead. The supposedly good ones. Actually, I don't even know where I got those. All right. So you all are the executive producers of this show. Thank you all so much. Frank Smith says we need an airing of the grievances in the chat room. This show's going to be kind of that. All right, let's do that. Let's just get in. I just made a list. I just got a list. We'll run through the list. This will be an impromptu show. I'll check in with you folks in the chat room from time to time. I want to tell you, I've made a bunch of videos, or I've compiled a bunch of videos that I think could be in the running for video year. I'll tell you this much. We started the year in January with something that is absolutely in contention for today's video, or this year's 2024 video of the year. You guys remember this? Early January, a dude at a Bass Pro Shop decided to get naked and go swimming. Yeah. All right, bro. He's got a mangina. You guys remember this guy? This video started. This was January 8th, I think. Leeds, Alabama. A dude just strips naked in a Bass Pro Shop and jumps in the cool aquarium. I mean, what do they got in there? They got fish in there? Here's again. Yeah. All right. That was that guy. You're not going to get any real information. Like, I don't remember the guy's name or anything like that, but it is fun to think about. That guy. That was on January 8th. I got this. January 8th. Bass Pro Shop swimmer. Here's another video, too. This is another one that is up for video of the year, and it just so happens that they both came from January, and I wanted to get these out of the way so that we could get into some of the stories, but here we go. Here's another candidate for video of the year. Is this better than the dude at the Bass Pro Shop? Okay. This guy, remember him? He's the short guy in the bagel shop who went nuts because dead. That's okay. Because chicks don't dig short guys.
Why is that okay?
Why is it okay for women to say, oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites? You should be dead. That's okay.
Who said that to you here? Nobody.
Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that shit up? Everywhere I go, I get the same smirk with the biting lip. Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father.
He's just a little man who has had enough of chicks not digging little men. I like him. That was in New Jersey. That also came from January of last year. A couple of videos right out of the box in January. We got the naked Bass Pro Shop swimmer guy, and we've got the little short bagel man who's pissed that chicks don't dig short dudes. All right, let's keep going. January also gave us the story of, remember this story from January where the Carlin family, George Carlin's family, went nuts because a bunch of comedians took George Carlin's content and created an AI version of George Carlin. I don't know if we have the video on that. I don't even know if we need to see that, but it was lame. Also in January of last year, Rogers versus Kimmel. Do you remember when like Rogers called Jimmy Kimmel a pedophile or insinuated that he was a pedophile on Pat McAfee's show and all hell broke loose? That was also in January. Also from January of last year, and I don't know, is Google Maps updated on this yet? But this was January 9th of last year. You remember when the hotel in Fort Worth exploded? We're just doing the show here. We're just sitting here talking, and all of a sudden we get breaking news that some fancy boutique hotel in Fort Worth exploded. Happy New Year, Barney! Barney's checking in. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? The aliens in Miami. You guys remember the aliens at the shopping mall in Miami? All you idiots, y'all fell for that and you thought there was an alien invasion and the world was ending and there was all these viral videos. Let's click on this story. Let me see. I need to refresh my memory on the aliens attacking a Miami mall. This came from January of last year. Shadow aliens sweep Miami after strange video captures emergency call. Well, do we have a strange video that we can show? I don't really know. Multiple people reported hearing gunshots at a 2-story mall. The noises were actually fireworks that a group of teens were throwing at each other, and all 4 of them were causing a riot inside. Then the UFOs showed up. This went viral because I guess the Miami police response was like hundreds of police cars, and so people were videoing that, and they're like, it's an alien invasion. I don't know. It was 2 stories that got mashed together. We all thought that aliens were invading Miami for a while in January. Forgot about that one, didn't we? Let's see. What else do we have? In January of last year, Cat Williams went on Club Shay Shay and just torched the entirety of Hollywood. Club Shay Shay, man. Club Shay Shay really blew up in January. There were 3 stories that had to do with Club Shay Shay. I guess Monique also went on Club Shay Shay in January. Shannon Sharp, man. He knows what he's doing with the... You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. We had some deaths in January of last year. Jessie Jane, porn star, friend of the show. Another Pugs and Kelly show death. Jessie Jane died in her home in Oklahoma last January. Here was a story from last January that we were all really obsessed with, and I have no idea how this thing ended up. Do you remember the dead Kansas City Chief fans? Remember this? From January of last year. Bunch of dudes got together to watch a Kansas City Chiefs game, and they all went out. They all left after the game. And they all died in the yard. Whatever happened with that? I gotta find an update, right? This should be the point of this show, is that we actually, Kansas City Chiefs fans death. I'm gonna put yard, right? There you go. Let's see here. All right, so the latest in the Kansas, remember this was such a mystery. It's like, were they on drugs? And then the dude who was in the house, who was hosting the game watching party, remember he turned out to be like some like crazy chemist. So they're all like, he made drugs. And they were like, in high school, he made drugs and sold them. So we don't know what happened there. I don't remember. But here's the latest. This is a story. It says the Kansas City Star, nearly a year since, this is from just December, just a few weeks ago. Nearly a year since mysterious deaths of 3 Kansas City Chief fans. What's the latest? What do we know? Nearly a year after 3 men were found dead outside a home in Kansas City's Northland neighborhood, police have been able to identify evidence of foul play, and no charges have been filed. Police have not been able to identify evidence of foul play, and no charges have been filed. Ricky Johnson, 38, David Harrington, 37, and Clayton McGeeney, 36, gathered at their friend Jordan Willis's home to watch the Kansas City Chiefs play the Los Angeles Chargers on January 7th. The 3 were found dead 2 days later in Willis's backyard. Willis's attorney, John Piccarnaro, that's a fun name, John Piccarnaro, good porn star name, Johnny Piccarnaro, previously told media outlets that he had expected charges to be filed soon in connection with the deaths, but not against his client. Piccarnaro told the Daily Star that at the time, prosecutors indicated they were looking into others who may have supplied drugs that the 3 men took. All right, so we got nothing. There you go. We got nothing. No answers. That's what this world is about. And that's what the news media depends on, people. I tell you this all the time. They get you stirred up in the moment, and then they just move on to something else because they know you don't really care, and all you really want is to be stirred up. Because again, and we say this a lot, when we get stirred up, certain things happen in the brain. Certain chemicals get released, and whether we're angry and raging or, oh my God, we're just so irritated by that guy and his haircut, whatever it is, that feels good to us. Does. You're not mad. You all know people who love being mad. So that's what the media does. They get us all stirred up. They get us all interested in something. And then they know that it's got a shelf life because we got short attention spans. And then, they don't have any answers, so they move on to something else. And then here it is almost a year later, and we still have no answers on why 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans were dead in their yard. But hey, it doesn't matter. We don't care. We've moved on. Remember back in January last year when Elmo checked in on Twitter? Elmo from Sesame Street got a Twitter account in January. And like his first tweet was, "Hey, it's Elmo. How you guys doing?" And he just got hit with like 1,000,000 people. Well, Elmo, if I'm being honest, don't think I'm going to make mortgage this year. It was a moment. Elmo's wellness check from back in January did not receive the response they had anticipated. All right, let's move into February. In February, the first story that we really got that I thought that was interesting, the Deadspin racist Chiefs fan story. There was just sort of a bit of news on this a couple of weeks ago. Remember the little kid, Chiefs fan, goes to Chiefs games, dressed up like the Chief. You know, he's got his face painted, half Kansas hat, you know, with the Chiefs colors, and he's wearing a headdress, and he's, you know, obviously a blue-eyed, blonde, handsome, young American boy. So that can't work. He's not allowed to do that. First of all, there's a problem. Not really, but okay. So it was Deadspin. A Deadspin reporter took a picture of half of his face, which was the gold bronze side of the face, and basically ran a story that a little kid went to a Chiefs game in blackface. Didn't show the full face, didn't show that it was actually the Kansas City Chiefs colors and that he wasn't making a racial statement. But Deadspin ran that story because they knew they'd get clicks if they could, you know, throw a 7-year-old under the bus on a global viral level. Deadspin just had to pay a whole shit ton of money last month. Deadspin, that family got their recompense. Is that the proper use of that word? I'm not sure. Also in February, got another video for you. This is one of my favorite videos of the year because I just have no love for this dude. And it's not, I don't have hate. I don't hate this man. I don't hate him. I just think that he is the quintessentially bad journalist. He's not a journalist. He's a suit. You know, I know he worked the Pentagon for a whole bunch of years and we're supposed to be impressed with that, but he's a suit. He's a newsreader. He has no follow-up questions ever. He's just the worst. And they're making us watch a 30-second ad before I can show you the video of what happened to him. So that's why I'm filling with basically nonsense talk. All right, let's go to this now. Who am I talking about? You're probably wondering at this point. I'm talking about Wolf Blitzer. Do you remember in February when Wolf Blitzer almost vomited on the air and we all laughed and it was fun because it's Wolf Blitzer and he's a pompous ass? Here you go.
Yeah, it does look like a majority of the justices, the conservative justices, arrived at the oral argument.
Now I remember why I love this video. Okay, watch Wolf. He's not doing what he just double clutched. He just
today with their minds completely made up. Of course, they're using different hooks to hang their hats on. Some of them.
He's not doing well. The eyelids are getting heavy. He's about to go.
Seem to think that the president is not covered by Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which the rest of them, I think, agree is ridiculous. The others seem to be...
Right here. He has vomit in his throat. He has vomit. You can see it. It's right there. You can see it. The vomit is in Wolf's throat right now. He does not know what's happening to him.
Congregating around the argument that was offered by Trump's able lawyer.
You would think at some point, and I'm surprised they don't have this because I would make sure that this seems like something. There should be a sign to take the camera off Wolf. All right. And are you telling me that there wasn't a director going, what's going on with Wolf? Let's get the camera off Wolf. They leave. I mean, obviously at some point they do recognize there's a problem because they jump to a commercial, but man, they are letting Wolf flail here.
Amendment, which the rest of them, I think, agree is ridiculous. The others seem to be congregating around the argument that was offered by Trump's able lawyer. Basically, the argument, I think, agree is ridiculous. The others seem to be congregating around the argument that was offered by...
That's it. That's a man about to vomit.
Trump's able lawyer, basically making the point that...
Not listening to a goddamn thing this guy is saying. Who is this, Jamie Raskin with hair? He is not listening to a goddamn thing this guy is saying.
Well, Trump might be disqualified from holding office, but he's not disqualified from running for office. And if he were removed from the ballot in Colorado, as the Colorado Supreme Court found he should be, Congress might act in the meantime.
There's something wrong with Wolf? Something's wrong with Wolf. Maybe we should get the camera off Wolf. I'm queuing up a commercial. We're going to throw it to break.
Time to exercise our 2/3 authority to remove the
he's fighting it here.
disability from Donald Trump. Now, that's obviously an extravagant
There you go. Finally, they got the goddamn camera off.
hypothetical, because we know there's not a 2/3 majority in Congress to remove his insurrectionist disability. But nonetheless,
Did you just hear him? Did you just hear Wolf? Hold on, let's go back. I think you can hear him if you're wearing headphones or if you got I think you can hear him go. Hold on. Go back.
it's a fair to extravagant hypothetical, because we know there's not a 2/3 majority in Congress to remove his insurrectionist disability. But nonetheless, it's a fair legal point, and I do think the conservatives are congregating around it. If you do want to base this decision on hypotheticals, however, hypothetically, the state legislature could still.
We're here to get your side of the story.
And there you go. That's how that just straight to a commercial. Wolf Blitzer is vomiting all over the anchor desk. Isn't that fun? All right, let's see here. Let's move on to February of last year. Cam Newton got into a fight. Remember when Cam Newton fought a mob? Cam Newton showed up at some sports day, some youth sports thing, and a whole bunch of dudes jumped him. And Cam Newton, who was dressed like a character from Wicked, he was wearing like some crazy witch hat. Well, Cam Newton, he dresses like a peacock almost all the time. Cam Newton threw some hands, son. You remember that video? Cam Newton beat the fuck out of like 8 dudes. They were coming at him and he was dealing. Cam Newton, big fight, February. All right, here's a video that is a nomination for Video of the Year. I want to show you this one. This one, do you guys remember this? I still have fucking nightmares about this video. This was from February of last year. It went viral. We talked about it on this show. I think this was back Pugs and Parker. I feel like we may have even talked about this. But watch this shit. This dude and his girlfriend. Oh, my God.
And she doesn't give a damn about me. 'Cause I'm just a teen.
Are you kidding me? Holy shit. His little Indian friend turned out to be hot as hell. Well, boys, maybe that's why you have a diversity in your friends group, because sometimes, seriously, this video went viral because apparently these two are a twosome, a nice little couple, and romantic, of course. You see them kissing, and she's hot. In the beginning, she's hot, dude. That's not bad. That's stripper. That's a stripper. You pay for that. Dudes go and they pay for that. So don't tell me it's not hot. It's a dude, though.
And she doesn't give
How?
a damn about me.
Wait, okay, so it's from that. She went from that. Oh, no, that's where she started. All right, that's fun. That was a crazy video from this year. He married his best friend? I don't know. Just looks like a straight. That dude's not a bad looking dude. He could get, love is love. And that's the real question with that whole thing, right? Love is love. Whatever. Who am I? It's a shock to me. I'm a man in my 50s. It's a little shocking. It's a new kind of thing that I'm dealing with. But as I like to say, love is love. Yeah, you guys, whatever, you two crazy kids. We're probably not going to be friends, okay? Here's why we're probably not going to be friends. We're probably not going to have a lot of stuff in common, and I don't have friends who I don't have things in common with. And the reason that we're not going to be friends isn't because you started out as a boy and are now a girl. I don't know. It's probably just because we like different music, and we're just like totally culturally different people. We don't have to be friends. I got to be nice to you, and you got to not be a dick or whatever. Maybe wrong choice of words. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. So, hey, to those two, good for you. Yeah, you'll be divorced just like normal people who fall in love. Let's see here. Let's keep going. Let's see. February. Let's jump ahead. Let's see what else do we have here. Let's see. No. Jumping ahead because, hold on. July, August, September. We don't need to jump that far ahead. I don't care about that. Let's do this. Okay, let's jump ahead to June because I don't know. Not really a whole lot was going on. June is when we were introduced to Person of the Year nominee. Is this a Person of the Year nominee? It was June when on the streets of Nashville, a streamer stuck a microphone in the face of Haley Welch. That's right. We know her now as Haley Welch. But she was Hawk Tua girl. Hawk Tua. Do we need to see this? Do we need to? I don't know. Do we need to watch the original Hawk Tua video? I feel like maybe we should. Because is it the video of the year? I mean, I don't know. And also, can I say this now that we have time to reflect upon Haley Welch, the Hawk Tua girl who went so viral back in June of last year when accosted on the streets? How do we do this? This is Instagram. And there she is. Look at her.
What's one move in bed?
All right, so here's what's lost in this whole Haley Welch thing. Her friend was much hotter, I think. Her friend, see her in the background? Her friend, super hot. I wonder if her friend got any, yeah, maybe later. Here we go.
That makes a man go crazy every time.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
All right, there you go. That's the Hawk Tua girl, Haley Welch. You guys have no idea. There was a story we almost did yesterday about OnlyFans chicks, what they earn, what the OnlyFans chicks are earning. So there's this OnlyFans chick, Sophie Rain is her name. She made $25 million last year. $25 million. She's 19. $25 million. Yeah, $25 million. She's 19. $25 million. She's 19. Her 40 time sucks. I mean, she is probably the slowest 19-year-old multimillionaire on the planet. Probably. Hawk Tua girl has made over $20 million this year. $20 million since a streamer stuck a microphone in her face and she said, Hawk Tua, spit on that thing. $20 million since then. First of all, say what you will about Haley Welch. Her life has been completely changed. This one incident, that was a lottery ticket for her. And it was better than a lottery ticket for Haley Welch. And I'll tell you why. Because she's what is she, 22, something like that? She is a kid who got swept up. I mean, we're going to forget about her. She's not going to be famous in a couple of years, but she's still going to have all that money and she's going to have that experience. Haley, did you go to college? No, I became the Hawk Tua girl of 2024. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, I bet that was cooler than college. I bet you went to cooler parties as the Hawk Tua girl than some sorority girl, got to go to. I mean, look, her life is golden. In 10 years, she'll make another $10 million when she writes a book about how awful it was being Hawk Tua girl. And that's going to be bullshit, too. Good for her. I got no hate for her, man. She seems like a nice girl. You get some hillbilly chick from Tennessee, they throw her in a chair next to Bill Maher. How do you think that's going to go? She has no shit. She's a normal, everyday, young party girl. Good for her. $20 million. Okay, so here's my point in bringing up the OnlyFans thing. Haley Welch, OnlyFans, she'll be on OnlyFans by March. I promise you. Haley Welch will go on OnlyFans. She doesn't have to get naked or do any of that stuff. Her name recognition, my God. The case for Haley Welch being Person of the Year, the Rant Person of the Year, is strong. Talk about somebody who accomplished something in 2024 without even trying. She got up and she put on makeup and she went down to a bar district in Nashville with her friend one night and everything changed. Everything changed. That's crazy. That's the American dream. That is unfortunately the modern manifestation of the American dream. It's no longer drive a taxi cab until you can open up your first restaurant, and then in 10 years you'll have 15 of them, and you're franchising nationwide. That isn't the American dream. The American dream is to have a video go viral. And don't I fucking know it? Because that's all there is anymore. That's all there is. Opportunity has been, oh my God, here we go. Talking about opportunity in this country, opportunity for the working class, opportunity for anyone that's not in the chosen class. And of course, this chosen class is endlessly bolstered by the not chosen class who one day wants to be chosen. And they think if I suck up to the chosen, oh, here we go. He's ranting. Mansion on the hill, mansion on the hill. Get your pitchforks, get your... Let's move on to July. This is another great video of the year, potentially. This came to us in July. This is from my buddy Kevin. Kevin Barber sent this to me. Found this in my DMs. You're going to slide into my DMs. You better have content like this. This comes to us from San Francisco, the streets of San Francisco. And where else could this take place? This was when if you remember, a guy dressed as a pirate apparently gets into a fight with a naked man, and a whole bunch of, well, let's just watch. I don't know what's happening here. It's San Francisco. All bets are off.
Okay, I hope he doesn't run to us.
Oh, there we go.
Punch him in the face. Are you kidding me?
No.
Hey!
Gotta hand it to the naked guy, man. Naked guy is one of them dudes. Somebody swings on an innocent person. Some people stand around and film it. Not naked guy. He's got nowhere to put his phone. He can't film it. Naked guy springs to action. Watch this. Got to give it to him. So pirate, I'm calling him. This guy, don't tell me gaydar isn't a thing, people. This guy is obviously gay. My gaydar is telling me so. I'm not going to resist my natural instincts. Now, step 2 of that is, do I have a problem when my gaydar goes off? No, I do not have a problem. It's just information that I funnel through my brain. Okay, so we got this crazy scene in San Francisco. Let's watch it again and admire the citizenship of naked man. Yeah, he could put on some clothes. He's violating a whole bunch of social norms. But when push came to shove, I want to be in a foxhole with naked man.
Punch him in the face. Are you kidding me? Hey!
That's naked man. Oh my God, there's multiple naked men. What the fuck is happening in San Francisco? There are multiple naked men.
Go.
And a pirate. And this guy, who I'm supposed to not judge as gay, because that's wrong.
Don't run. You come here. Come.
Mind if I come in?
Come in, please.
All right, there you go. How about it? Mayhem on the streets of San Francisco. I love that. All right. Let's see here. Let's jump back to where we at now. We're jumping around. What other stories do we got? Back in February, here's one. I tried not to mention, political stuff or school shootings, but this one gets mentioned because it happened here in Texas. The Lakewood Baptist shooting happened in Houston. That was back in February. Remember that? The Lakewood Baptist shooting. Who was that guy? It's that mega preacher's place. The guy with the smile who looks like if he wasn't selling God, he'd be selling cars at CarMax. What, Joel, James, whatever. I don't know. That's how out of the whole Christian game I am. Terrible situation down there. The Lakewood Baptist shooting. It was a terror. It was an Arab terrorist. She had written, the woman brought her kid, walked into the Lakewood Baptist and started shooting people. The bullets had Palestine written on the bullets. Whatever. Okay. Also, big story from, we'll go back in the spring of last year. Big story. How about this one? Beyonce went country. How'd that work out? In March of last year, the big news that dropped was that Beyonce was making a country album and it would be released. Texas Hold'em. Beyonce, I'm sorry, folks. Beyonce kicked country's ass. Beyonce went, really? All right. I'm going to go into your genre and I'm going to get played on your radio stations and I'm going to have like the biggest country album of the year. Beyonce kicked your ass. Carrie Underwood can't do that. Carrie Underwood can't go into hip hop or R&B or whatever it is that is, Beyonce's home domain. Carrie Underwood can't do that. Taylor Swift probably could. I bet you Taylor Swift could. That's why Taylor and Beyonce, they're like the two. They're like, we get one of each. We get a black one and a white one. We got them both. They're queens. Let's see here. You know what I didn't mention? I also didn't mention the Kansas City Super Bowl parade shooting. Remember, that happened as well. I don't really want to, we don't need to do this. Also, last spring, when was this? What date is this? Remember when the Eagles went on trial? That was a big deal because some dude claimed that some dude somehow stole Don Henley's original lyrics to Hotel California, was trying to sell them. Yeah, it was a messed up story. No need to waste any more time on that. Jerry Jones also had a paternity suit this year, remember? Yeah, but he settled it, though. I think he settled it this year. It was this year that he wrote her a check. You can't say I'm your dad anymore. Here's $1 billion. Okay. Okay, dad, who was never in my life. 50-0. Back in, is this April or May? I think it's April. 50-0. The U.S. Senate voted to ban TikTok. 50-0. We're dealing with that right now. 50-0. So wrap your mind around this, and then just remember, this is what politics is. So back when they asked the United States Senate if they wanted to ban TikTok, they voted 50-0 to ban TikTok. All of our elected senators, acting on our behalf, voted to protect us. 50-0. I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying we should. I am not weighing in on whether TikTok should be banned or not. I'm simply saying that in this moment, last March, our government was 50-0. Then the money came into play and people started having steak dinners. And now here we are, 9 months later, we're on the verge of this law going into effect, and it ain't gonna happen. Folks, it was 50-0. It was the only thing our government had ever agreed on. 50-0, our Senate. They had 50-0, and now it ain't going to happen because politics ain't real. Politics, believe what you, based upon your life experience and your moral foundation, believe, funnel it all through that, and then have your own belief. Because ain't none of these fuckers worth following, because none of them are principled. 50-0 was the Senate vote to get rid of TikTok. And now it ain't going to happen because money. The bipartisan House bill introduced Tuesday would force ByteDance to sell off TikTok to face being named 50-0. Pornhub got banned in Texas. There you go. I thought that would affect me more. But I'm not a big porn guy. And, I don't know. Porn. It's been like months since Pornhub, and a whole bunch of them, right? It's not just Pornhub. Like, it's a whole bunch of, like, porn tubes that people use. There you go. They got banned here. Actually, it didn't get banned in Texas. We should explain what happened here. Texas passed a law requiring porn sites to take extra steps in verifying the age of users. So, for instance, if I here in Texas wanted to access Pornhub or any number of other sites in the Pornhub is a massive company. So if I want to access Pornhub, I can in Texas. I would just have to enter in my driver's license and all of this other stuff that Pornhub and that industry feels is invasive, unnecessarily invasive. I happen to think that the porn industry doesn't do enough. I mean, I got a 15-year-old son. I mean, I don't want his life wrecked by porn because I really think that influence at a young age can alter one's sexual expectations later in life. I don't think that's a good thing. That's all. I think everything in moderation is fine. Okay. So I'm not anti-porn. I'm not trying to ban it, but I would like to see the industry themselves work a little harder to keep 18. Let's come up with something, man. We're going to Mars. We can't come up with a way to stop 18 or 15-year-olds from accessing hardcore pornography sites that can emotionally, psychologically, and certainly sexually screw them up for the next 50 years of their adult life. No. So anyway, the issue was this. Texas wanted you to do all of these extra steps. And it's Pornhub who banned their sites in Texas. Pornhub said, no, we're not going to allow for that. So now, if you in Texas want to access Pornhub, you can't because of Pornhub, not because of Texas. Texas is like, if they play by our rules, they can operate here. And Pornhub's like, we're not playing by your rules. So that was the whole Pornhub Texas story from last spring. Another big story from last spring was the whole Nickelodeon Dan Schneider quiet on the set thing. Remember, that all came to a head. They introduced the new kickoff rule, and we were all mad. And now it's been an entire season of the new kickoff rule, and nobody cares. Oh, here's a fun one. I saw this back in March 14th of last year. March 14th. Big NFL announcement, a massive announcement on March 14th of last year. We talked about it on the show. Netflix announced that they were going to be doing football games on Christmas. And we just saw that last week. We just saw those games that were announced back in, we saw them, and Netflix did a bang up job. Good for you, Netflix. Let's see. What month is this now? This was a big news story from last year. And I kept this one in as a real actual news story because it's not a school shooting and it's not politically, this came from late March of last year, the Key Bridge in Baltimore. Remember that? Remember when that boat struck the bridge in Baltimore and the whole world was like, did they fix that? I think they fixed that immediately, right? That's not an ongoing problem there, didn't they? So whatever. We were all like, this is terrible. This is going to be the worst. And then none of us live in Baltimore, and the people of Baltimore seem to have been pretty quiet about it since. So I guess that got handled. Government. Somebody did it. Wasn't me. Cicadas took the world by storm this spring and summer. Cicadas, nature's weirdos. That's what I call them. We also, in late March of last year, we had the Rashee Rice incident here in Dallas. Remember that? Kansas City Chiefs and former SMU star crashed his rented Lamborghini. What was the story? He had rented two cars. Rashee Rice, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, was back home at SMU partying. And right there at Mockingbird and 75, right where I live, right there in Mockingbird, he decided to take a leased Lamborghini that he was driving. And I guess his buddies, right? He had some buddies with him, and he had leased a Porsche Cayenne. And they were going to race up 75 Central. And they caused mayhem. They crashed. They wrecked. He ran from the scene. And the world was so angry at the young man, and then nothing happened to him. Well, I guess he was suspended a couple of games, and then he got hurt anyway. The best thing that happened to Rashee Rice is that he got hurt this year. So that, everybody stopped talking about it. The entire year, he's out. He'll be back next year. And we'll all just be like, he's a good young receiver. And we'll let our kids put posters of him on their walls. Because we'll forget that he caused an accident, slammed his car into a whole bunch of people, and then in front of video cameras, just walked straight by the video cameras going, no, bro. Remember that? That's who he is for reals. Okay? That's who he is. That is a bad fucking person who doesn't deserve one penny of your hard-earned cash. Rashee Rice. I will never... Look, let me tell you something. I used to watch MSNBC years ago. Then they hired Al Sharpton. And I said, I will never watch MSNBC again. I used to enjoy the Kansas City Chiefs. I root against the Kansas City Chiefs now all the time. I mean, it's easy because they win. But I don't really have a problem with them. I do now. My problem is Rashee Rice. They didn't cut that guy. That's a character issue. That son of a bitch could have killed your kid, my kid, anybody. He didn't know. He didn't know the condition of the people in the accident. He didn't know. He just got out and walked away. And guess what? That was the best thing that could have happened. Legally, that's what he's advised to do. And there were no real legal ramifications. He didn't go to jail. Got to play NFL football. Nah, that's fine. That's fine. If he just stayed, he'd have been arrested. That's our system. One of the big stories of the year that I'd like to spend a moment talking about, and it sort of came about last year on SNL. Sydney Sweeney's boobs. Oh, they're glorious. I got no problem with Sydney Sweeney's boobs. Sydney Sweeney's boobs. I couldn't be this comfortable talking about Sydney Sweeney's boobs 3 years ago because there'd be a whole bunch of people going, you can't talk about her boobs, like that. They'd be like, we're going to cancel you or whatever. Look, I'm basically already canceled. I do a stream every day. Basically already canceled. So, but then Sydney Sweeney went on Saturday Night Live and was like, hey, America, look at my boobs. I like my boobs. I like that you like my boobs. You should be able to look at my boobs because it's a human body. So boobs. Sydney Sweeney's boobs. They're magnificent. They're crazy good. I know there's opportunities to see them naked. I don't think I've ever seen them naked. I'm not that much of a perv. But I do appreciate Sydney Sweeney's boobs. And overall, what she represented, which seems to be, and that is women embracing their superpower. Women's superpower is that when they're hot, they can get away with shit. They can manipulate men. They can get almost anything they want as long as they're hot. And I don't think there's anything wrong with women being able to use it if they got it. I don't. I never have. I don't see it being any different than handsome men who are charming using that bullshit to get whatever they want. I don't see it as any different than Brad Pitt being discovered because he's so fucking handsome. That's his gift. How about Roger Clemens and, his thunderbolt of an arm? That's a gift. Sydney Sweeney's got a gift. She's got a talent. And that talent is that she can make men crumble. And until this year, until her ascension as one of the top female personalities in Hollywood, until her ascension, it was always, no, it's not about beauty. It's not about, look, women embracing that power is great. Because it is their superpower. And you want to know who have told women not to use their sexuality to their advantage? Ugly fucking women and dudes. That's who. Ugly fucking women and dudes are the ones, gay men, I should be more specific. Those are the ones who don't want women to be sexy, who don't want women to be voluptuous or, just Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney's boobs. What do we call them? They were great in 2024. And no, it's look, I'm being silly here, but it does represent something more. It does represent beautiful women recognizing that this is a fucking power that men have gone to war over. And there is just this propagandized thing over the last 20 years where ugly women don't like beautiful women using that superpower to get ahead. And so it's been demonized. No, fuck that. Use everything you got. I don't even know if Sydney Sweeney can act. You know what she can do? She can look good in a dress and she seems relatively charming. I say, go for it, ladies. All right. Remember that big bank heist last April, early April of last year? Huge bank heist, largest in, I think American history or something. $30 million stolen from a bank in Los Angeles. That was last April. The big story of April, though, it was a big story of the entire springtime. And you're probably thinking, because I jumped into a couple of June stories, that I didn't want to cover this one. How about the eclipse? 32 million people saw total eclipse. Here in Dallas, we saw the total eclipse at 1:40 p.m. on the 8th of April. It was April 8th. The eclipse. Let's see here. What else do we have? Adam Raina says gay men are far more objective than most men because they have standards. Okay, so let's take the first part. Gay men are far more objective than most men. What do you mean objective? What is objective? Well, I don't understand what objective means in that context. That the second part, because they have standards, that's bullshit. I'm throwing that out at him. I don't need your little commentary. Okay. But what do you mean gay men are far more objective than most men? I don't know what that means. He'll explain. Adam says gay men love boobs. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, sure, Adam. Okay. Gay men love boobs. Totally into it. That's why whenever you see a gay male couple, one of them always has implants because gay men love boobs, says Adam. Okay. Let's go. Let's keep going. This is what happens when I jump into the chat room. We're doing the year in review here on the Rant. Morgan Whalen got arrested in Tennessee when he went to Toby Keith's bar and threw something to the cop. Remember that? Morgan Whalen goes up. This was April. Jesus, this was April. I thought this was over the summer. Morgan Whalen went to a bar, got drunk, saw a bunch of cops standing down below, and he threw a chair at him. Morgan Whalen, ladies and gentlemen. Guy's a dick. That's a dick thing to do. And I don't care. I was drunk. Yeah. Being drunk shows sides of you that you keep hidden when you're not drunk. You're the kind of person who would throw a chair at a cop, Morgan Whalen. Sorry. You're a dick. You and Rashee Rice, cut from the same cloth. You know what we didn't mention from back in January that I skipped over that I wanted to mention because this is also a dude who I think is a dick. Michael Irvin. Remember when Michael Irvin got in trouble back in January of this year? He absolutely nothing happened to Michael Irvin other than he got fired. But then I say nothing to him because he got hired at a higher salary. Got rehired by ESPN. Michael Irvin was down covering the Super Bowl for ESPN, and he was in a hotel lobby, and he supposedly sexually harassed some woman who works at the hotel. So ESPN immediately fired him. And then there was nothing to the story. And so Fox Sports or whatever hired him at an increase. So it was good for Michael Irvin. That was good. Kept his name in the paper. Got a better job. ESPN completely panicked. One of the last. I don't think we're going to see corporations completely panic anymore like that. I don't think so. Not after Trump's win. I'm telling you, you think things aren't different? Things are going to be way different now. Shit's been normalized. We can feel comfortable doing shit, saying shit, like admiring Sydney Sweeney's boobs. ESPN maybe just waiting for the full report, instead of just firing Michael Irvin immediately. Or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe he was working for Fox. Whatever it was, fired by somebody, rehired by somebody else almost immediately. In New York City last spring, we had a face puncher. Remember that guy? He was running around New York City punching people in the face. He punched Steve Buscemi in the face. Remember when Steve Buscemi got punched in the face? We don't know. We don't know that it was one face puncher. We don't know that it was multiple face punchers. Here's what we know. We know they stopped, or we stopped talking about them. So obviously the face punching is over. Nobody is ever getting punched in New York anymore because that story's over. Campus protests was another big story in late spring of last year. We all wondered whether this would spill over into the summer. And we're like, no, of course it won't, because they're going to go home and get drunk and take summer jobs as lifeguards and shit. It's going to all stop. And it did. The big campus protests. Let's see here. Weed. Back in late May. Weed was rescheduled. Remember, weed was Schedule 1 at the federal level, which means that it's like heroin. Weed was officially rescheduled, ladies and gentlemen, in 2024. There was a shooting at Drake's house. Do you guys remember this? Remember Drake's house up in Canada? You think, you can be safe up in Canada. Drake's house up in Canada, and his security guard got shot. Some dude drove up and was like, bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, Drake ain't that gangster. That ain't. Drake was from. What was Drake from? And I keep saying Saved by the Bell, but what's Canadian Saved by the Bell? Degrassi. That's it. Oh, but Drake is from the lame Degrassi, right? Wasn't there like a Degrassi reboot? Gen Xers, we know the real Degrassi. Do you guys remember Degrassi? Are you guys old enough to remember first generation Degrassi? It was the most jacked up. First of all, it was the best. It was the best teen show on television. It was from Canada. It was like a Canadian version of Saved by the Bell, except everybody was getting high and fucking. Like everybody in Degrassi was pregnant, STDs. Oh, it was great. It was great. I thought Canada was wild. I'm like, Canada's wild. This is a middle school. These kids are my age. They're like in 8th grade. Anyway, Drake was on the lame 90s version of Degrassi, where all of a sudden these kids no longer had drug habits, smoked cigarettes, and had unprotected sex. That's the new Degrassi. I don't know. Maybe the new Degrassi was hardcore too. Maybe that's Degrassi's thing. I hope it is, but whatever. Drake's house got shot up. Let's see here. Oh, you remember the portal? Yeah. This was also back in May of last year. They introduced, remember the portal? They put a portal in New York City, and then they put a portal. It's a big window, video camera. It's a fucking mirror with a video camera. That's all it is, okay? But they're calling it the portal. So they put one in New York City and they put one in Dublin, and people in Dublin would stand in front of that one, and they'd see the people in New York City, and the people in New York City would stand in front of theirs, and they'd see the people in Dublin. It's that. The People's Portal. Of course, we had to stop doing it almost immediately because humanity sucks. Like the very first thing that happened in New York was some chick just started showing her tits to the people in Dublin. She gets in front of it, American girl. She's like, look at my tits, which is fine because Sydney Sweeney made it okay. But still, behave yourself. This could be a nice thing. This could be little kids talking to little kids. But no, it's some stripper showing her tits. Then, for Dublin's part, y'all didn't do yourself any favors either. Dublin, it's not like they're better humans. So what did the Dublin people do when they knew that the people from New York were looking straight at them? They started making 911 jokes, 9/11 jokes. Like they brought props and stuff. It was awful. It was awful. Human beings left on our own to our own devices are instinctively terrible to one another. I will die on that fucking hill. It takes a lot of work to be a nice person. Takes a lot of work. Seriously, the portal. If anything sums up 2024, it's that fucking portal. Wouldn't it be great? I bet this is a liberal thing, but wouldn't it be great if people from across an ocean can look at each other and they can connect as human beings? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, it would be great. But unfortunately, we got a bunch of idiots in New York and a bunch of fucking drunks in Dublin, and they're going to flip each other off and show each other's tits and dicks. That's what they're going to do because that's what humans are. We're fucking monkeys. No, monkeys wouldn't do that. Monkeys would be like, whoa, this is cool. Monkeys would find something else. Monkeys are better than us. The People's Portal, Dublin, New York, had to close it down because we couldn't handle it. Scotty Scheffler got arrested driving to a golf tournament. Remember that? That was a huge story. Scotty Scheffler, he's probably, I bet you Scotty Scheffler's got one of these back to blue, stickers on his car. He just seems like one of those kinds of guys. But yeah, when he got pulled over, now he didn't handle that well. We also know that the cop was a dick. A lot of people are dicks out there. Humans are not good. And two dicks crossed paths at like 6 a.m, right? It was still dark out. He was going for his early swings. And Scotty Scheffler, the world's #1 golfer of the year, was arrested. Tennessee, outside Nashville, something like that. I don't know what it is. Puffy got his house raided. Back in June. That story's developing. ... Remember his plane? It's like, where's his plane? He's fleeing the country. ... Because then nothing happened. We all lost interest in the Puffy story. ... More on Puffy coming up later in the year. What else did we have back here? Late May is when they tried to steal Graceland. Remember when Lisa Marie Presley died? And Priscilla's dead. And so Riley Keough, the actress, she is the executor of Graceland. She's in charge of all that. And some dude came out of nowhere claiming that he was the owner of Graceland because Lisa Marie made some fakakta deal with him back in the day when Lisa Marie was all strung out on pills. And he's like, she never paid me that money and now she's dead. So I own Graceland. And he tried to pull that off. And it was completely made up. Because it's all a construct. That could have worked. That might have worked. If it hadn't been such a big target, if it hadn't been something like Graceland, where, every news media was like, wait, what's happening with Graceland? Where that kind of a spotlight was shined on the situation. How many times has that scam worked on your grandma or your aunt or whoever? Because some company, and because grandma didn't have a lawyer that she could pay to defend against it. That's what happened with Graceland. There was a Dateline special on that. That's not just a one-off thing. The problem with the Graceland incident, or what saved the Graceland incident from falling from the Presley family's hands, was that it was Graceland, was that everybody was paying attention to it. But this apparently happens all the time, so be careful. People coming out of the woodwork pretending to have mortgage loans on houses of recently dead old people. And then they usually go after the remaining old person. And oh my God, if you don't have any kids, if you're just two old people, you are fucking chum. They are coming for you. They're going to take your house. Didn't happen though. Didn't happen. Let's see here. In June, big news locally over the summer, Larry Allen died. I didn't even remember this. I was reminded of this this morning. I'm like, holy shit, Larry Allen died. That sucked. And Larry Allen, my son is an offensive lineman. My son loves Larry Allen. And I said to him this morning, as I was realizing that Larry Allen, Dallas Cowboy, great, probably greatest interior lineman in the history of the NFL. Larry Allen dies. And I said to my son this morning, oh my God. Larry Allen died. And my kid looks at me and he goes, what? Like he was realizing it for the first time. He goes, what? Wait, I'll give you my son's reaction. Here's my son's reaction. I go, oh my God. Remember, I'm reviewing the year. So I'm just going through things from the year. And I go, oh my God, Larry Allen died. Here's my son. What? When did that happen? Wait, he's dead. Like it dawned on him. But like for a split second, he was sad again. And then he had to cycle through it. And he was like, oh no, wait a second. I already knew he was dead, Dad. He died. I'm like, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He died this year. That's what I'm going through. Larry Allen, great Dallas Cowboy legend, dead in June. Kate made her return in June. Remember Kate? Kate was missing. Queen Kate, Princess Kate. I don't know what the fuck she is. Chick over there in England. She went in for some sort of medical procedure back in November of 2023. And her and King Charles, remember, they shared a room and it was so cute. Father and daughter-in-law both getting their little thing. So we were distracted by how cute that was. And nobody realized that Kate never came out of the hospital for like 8 months. And then they're like, hey, wait. Remember how cute that was? How come Kate is still there? And nobody knew what was going on with Kate. And it turns out that she is battling a form of cancer, but she made her return. She made a video in June. Here's a word from the summer that I'd almost forgotten, but now here it is back to haunt us in our cold winter months. Do you remember I think this might be the phrase of 2024. Heat dome. Heat dome. I went through every show from last year. And as I got to June through July, every single show that I did this year led off with heat dome, index, temperature. I don't remember it being that horribly hot here in Texas because it's always horribly hot in Texas, but heat dome. Heat dome. All right, we're into the summer months now as we take our stroll down 2024, the stories that, and again, I'm not doing the politics. I'm not doing the debate. I'm not doing the VPs. I'm not doing Biden steps down. I'm not doing any of that. I don't care about that. You shouldn't either. Not doing school shootings. We did the Lakewood Baptist shooting because, you know, that Joel Osteen, and that's a Texas story. And so I mentioned that. We're not doing, I am giving you just the stories that I find that I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that's interesting. Like this one. Justin Timberlake spent a night in jail this summer. Justin Timberlake got himself a DUI and we were all a tizzy about it. Oh, JT, what's he doing? He took a plea. He's fine, right? No big deal. Rich guys with lawyers who don't blow, they never get in trouble for DUIs. Rich guys don't blow. Get a lawyer. And remember, you're on tape. That's it. And that's what he did. Justin Timberlake gave them no evidence. Justin Timberlake had a good tape. And Justin Timberlake was like, this is my expensive lawyer. I'm going to let him and the judge talk for a while. And before you know it, Justin Timberlake's out on tour. Let's see. What else do we have here? Alex Jones lost InfoWars back in June of last year. Let's see. Oh, remember this one? This was a big story in June of last year. The United States of America fielded an all-star, and what do we call this? The World Football League the IAF Under-20 World Junior Football Championships. The championship game was held between the United States of America, who was a huge favorite in their sport. Just got a noise thing here. We played Japan. Japan, who beat the snot out of us in the World Baseball Classic last year. So Japan, they got baseball. They're better at baseball than we are. They got that. Japan's under-20 national football team, American League, American rules football is what they call it there. Japan's under-20 American rules football team defeated the team from America 41-20 to be the best under-20 international football team in the world. All right, very good. So that was humiliating. But remember, it turned out that that's like a bullshit thing in America. Like, everybody else takes it seriously. Like, the team from the Netherlands, like, takes their American-style football seriously. But the team that America actually fields for this is just a bunch of, like, Division III dudes who, like, aren't really that good, but it's, you know, good for the resume, and it's a way for them to keep playing football. It's not our best, right? Our best ain't fucking around. Our best Division I under-20 college football players are not going to risk blowing out their knee against the Netherlands. Okay? Doesn't mean anything. The good players are not wasting their time on this. So that's how America loses in American rules football. We're not putting out. We aren't putting nearly our best. This is like college Olympic basketball. You know, Olympic basketball, it used to be like, is America going to win the gold, or is the team from Turkey going to do it? Or, you know, it was always like close. Then we started putting our pros out there. It ain't close anymore. All right, let's see here. Let's move into midsummer. The middle of summer here in Dallas had a tragedy. Remember when Hooters burned down? Remember when downtown Hooters, the West End Hooters here in Dallas, burned down? I don't know if they're back open. I don't know. I think they are. They'd have to be. This was like back in mid-July that Hooters burned down. We had the Olympics over the summer. Snoop Dogg, he carried the torch. We had remember the big hubbub of the year about the opening ceremonies in the Last Supper depiction? All the Christians, who are the most easily triggered bitches in the world, went nuts because they're not smart enough to recognize that this was the Feast of Dionysus. They only saw it as the Last Supper, even though the central character looked nothing like Jesus and everything like Dionysus, especially from the painting, the Feast of the Dionysus, and especially, you know, consider the Olympics, opening fucking ceremonies, Greek mythology. Holy shit, but no. In America, we made it against, this is what they're doing to Christians. The Olympics are a Greek thing. The French were doing a whole Greek tribute, and you people have to be the victim. Christians in America, they are so desperately wanting to be victims. Oh, everything is outside. You're too stupid to know Greek mythology, and you're also too stupid to put the context clues together that it's the Greek Olympic mythology that they're paying tribute to here. It's not the Last fucking Supper. Jesus wasn't blue, okay? Jesus wasn't blue. Dionysus, as depicted in the Feast of Dionysus, is blue. Oh, my God. Although it was revealed months later that the person who put it together knew that this was going to happen and loved all the attention from the idiot crowd. Of course, the artsy people, those idiots as well, the artsy people were like, oh, the fantastic opening ceremonies. No one will ever do that where Paris did their opening ceremonies. Fuck the Olympics. I don't care. In August, Tenacious D made news when Kyle Gass of Tenacious D went up on stage and made fun of the president just after the president was assassinated, or the attempted assassination of President Trump there in Pennsylvania. Kyle Gass got up on stage. They were paying, it was his birthday. So Jack Black, the other member of Tenacious D, comes out with a cake and says, Kyle, make a wish. And Kyle says, I wish the shooter hadn't missed. This caused me to lose all respect for Jack Black, a guy who I used to think was a aces. Jack Black immediately distanced himself from his partner of years and years. Was it a stupid thing to say? Yeah, of course it was a stupid thing to say. You shouldn't have said it. It's just not cool. Just it's not cool. Why can't he say that? He should be able freedom of speech. Because it's not cool. See, a lot of times people who are utilizing freedom of speech, they're not being cool. They're being dorks. So if you want to be a dork, that's fine. Utilize every aspect of your right to a freedom of speech. But most of us are going to sit back and go, you're an asshole. Cool. Yeah, way to use your constant. Shut your fucking mouth. You're not being cool. Don't be cool. Just shut your mouth. That's all. Shut your mouth, Kyle. You're thinking it. You shouldn't say it because it's an asshole thing to say. And he said it. And I lost all respect for Jack Black because immediately in the firestorm that ensued, Jack Black distanced himself from his friend of years and years, saying, Tenacious D, we'll never work together again. That was another story from 2 days later. Tenacious D breaks up. Because Jack Black couldn't stand by his boy. Jack Black, you don't have enough money, Jack? To be like, yeah, Kyle said something stupid. But, Kyle says a lot of stupid things. That's why Tenacious D is so popular. Well, they're supposedly friends again. Like a couple of months later, somebody asked Jack Black about his relationship with Kyle. And he's like, Kyle's my homeboy. We'll be together forever, ride or die. Not quite, Jack. When the rubber hit the fucking road, it was not ride or die. It was Tenacious D is broken up. Ugh. My partner Kelly died in August. That was a big deal. That was a really big deal. That was obviously where I'm concerned. That was the most significant, life-altering event of the year. There's a lot of years that are just, completely you can forget about. It's like, yeah, what happened? I don't remember. I don't know. 2019, what happened? 2020, of course. 2020 was COVID. I remember that. But what happened a year before? What was going on? Anything big? You forget about them. Well, 2024 for me is always going to be the year that my partner, my oldest friend, my sister, she was as close. I'm an old child. I don't have brothers and sisters. But there is a closeness. There's a closeness between people. You don't have to be blood related, but when you are blood related, you have that closeness where you can almost take one another for granted. I certainly utilized that aspect of our relationship. I certainly took her for granted. So that's August. Everything else after that in August was kind of a blur for me. I guess Oasis reunited. That was nice. Here in Dallas, All City Sports came to town. That's exciting. All City Sports, DWLS. I enjoy their content. I wish I was a bigger fan of Dallas sports teams. All City Sports has a number of these platforms in different cities. They have, like in Chicago, they have CHGO, which exclusively is podcast content for Chicago sports teams. Bears, White Sox, whatever. So I watch a lot of that, on YouTube when I'm puttering around the house, sort of replacing sports radio. In Chicago, it's better than most sports radio. Not better. Look, I have friends in sports radio in Chicago, so I don't want to say that. In case, they're like, what are you talking about? CHGO is better than us. No, they're not better than you, but they are supplemental to what I use you guys for. I haven't found that connection yet with DWLS. Maybe you have. I don't know. Frank Smith is a big Dallas sports fan. I wonder if he's a regular consumer of the DWLS All City Sports content here in Dallas. I wish him well. Remember when the CrowdStrike situation happened? That was in late August. CrowdStrike was like some big corporate. They protect computers from hacking, right? They protect big business, and they have government contracts and all that kind of. They're important. If you're got important stuff in your computer, you're paying CrowdStrike to make sure that your important stuff stays your important stuff. CrowdStrike got hacked. Whoops. That's not good for business. I don't know what happened. They said it was something on their end. They immediately, CrowdStrike was like, nope, that was us. We did an update. It was totally us. Because in this situation, incompetence on their part was far greater than admitting that their impenetrable security system had been penetrated. It was just better for them to go, yeah, it was an engineer. He fucked up. And so we don't know what happened. We know, that's shady. They can't admit that they got hacked. They have to admit they fucked up. Otherwise, somebody penetrated their impenetrable system. September is when we first started hearing they're eating the ducks and the cats. Remember that? That's going to be something we remember from 2024. I think that years from now, somebody will be drunk in a bar and they'll yell, they're eating the ducks and the cats. And we'll all know what he's talking about and we'll laugh. We'll be like, that dude's a funny guy from 2024. This is, of course, a story of Ohio. Whole bunch of you idiots in the chat room. You still think they're eating ducks and cats. No, Pugs, it's a problem. It's a real problem. The cat market. It's never going to recover from this. Shut the fuck up. Another thing you stupid morons in September were all upset about, remember? They're eating the cats and the ducks. But also, remember, Hell's Angels are coming to Aurora, Colorado because of Venezuelans who are all fat and energized off eating the cats and ducks. Hell's Angels. Remember that? That was so stupid. It's, I get angry at people who tweet things that they know when they're tweeting it that it's bullshit. They're like, I'm going to freak people out. I get upset with them when their tweets reflect poorly on themselves, like that they're stupid, like if they say something stupid. I'll give you an example. I once saw a friend of mine was troll tweeting, and he tweeted, this was during the Alec Baldwin Rust thing. He said, Alec Baldwin has been sentenced to death by a tribunal in New Mexico, and the reason you haven't heard about it is because a county judge in New Mexico has told the media to black the story out. And he hit send. And I said to him, I go, what are you fucking doing? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just trying to fuck with people. I go, but don't you realize that, like, people now think that you think that a county judge in New Mexico has the power to overturn the First Amendment to the Constitution? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, you're putting out there, you're letting people know that you think that a county judge could tell the media to not talk about the military tribunal. That's what people think of you. So that's what happens when you when you put these troll things out. Don't do it under your real name because it's going to be, oh, he's stupid. Oh, he's a stupid person. He's a stupid person who doesn't understand the First Amendment. He's the kind of stupid person who thinks a judge can just order a local newspaper to not report a story. You hear that kind of stuff a lot. Well, no, the judge just tells the local media not to report. That's not a thing, you fucking morons. That's not a fucking thing. And if that's a thing that you think is in this country, get the fuck out of my country. You don't fucking get what this country is. You're stupid. Anyway, Hell's Angels. When that story was going on, I'm like, look, I know very little about the Hell's Angels. I know very little about motorcycle gang culture, if you will. But I do know that one group of motorcycle gang in one state can't just roll into another state like unannounced to clean up. That's just not a thing. Like, people get whacked in motorcycle gang communities for that kind of shit. Hell, there's an entire half-season story arc about that very issue when the Sons of Anarchy tried to take over Indian Hills. The Sons of Anarchy, they tried to go and take over Indian Hills, Nevada. And that was a huge problem because nobody let the Indian Hills people know that they were coming. And oh my God, a war broke out. So all you fucking idiots from back in September who thought people were, they're eating all the cats and ducks. And don't come back at me, Barney or whoever, with, here's a video of a dude. Okay, I have no doubt that a dude ate a duck from a lake. I have no doubt that happens on the fucking reg. I lived on the south side of Chicago. We got a lot of lakes and a lot of homeless people. And I'm pretty sure that the reason that the duck and geese population wasn't insane is because homeless people eat ducks and geese out of lakes all the time. You fucking moron. What do you think they're cooking in that giant flaming garbage can? A goose that they just took out of lakes. So that's not a thing. It's not a real story. It's only a real story if you want to hate fucking people of a certain immigrant class. If you're looking for something to tie to them that is absurd and obscene to normalized senses, which eating cats and ducks is, then you say that shit. But to act like you don't think that happens, you don't think poor people in this country eat fucking ducks out of community ponds, you're out of your mind. And apparently y'all just found out about it in September. Fucking stupid people. Hell's Angels coming to Colorado also. That's a stupid person's story. 2024 was full of them. Stupid people story. All right, so there's a couple of things that happened also in where are we at? Are we in basically October, late summer, early fall? A couple of things happened. One was a sports miracle at the time, and one has turned into a sports miracle. And they are two of the coolest sports comeback stories of the year. We'll talk about both of them here. First of all, Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is a basketball player. Lonzo Ball was the number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft. He's a very, very gifted young basketball player who suffered an incredibly bad and serious knee injury. I don't even know if it's a knee injury. It's something down there that's all fucked up. He basically had to quit playing basketball at 23 years old, 22 years old. All of this promise, all of this hard work, he had to quit playing basketball. His knee was never going to be able to be repaired. It was too extensively damaged. Then a doctor doing a process that had never been done before, an experimental surgery where he started using knees from cadavers, knees and muscle tissue and all that from cadavers. And they rebuilt Lonzo Ball's knee with a dead guy's tissue and a dead guy's everything. And it fucking worked. Lonzo Ball, after 3 years of not being able to walk, is playing at the NBA, and he's playing at a very high level. So much so, we're hoping to trade him. My Chicago Bulls, he was dead weight for us for 3 years. We acquired him. We built the entire team around him, and then he blew out his knee. And then for 3 years, he was like, is Lonzo coming back this year? No, he's going to miss this season again. And now he's back. And we're going to be able to trade this kid. I mean, I'd love to see him. Yeah, I'd love to keep him, but we're not playing that style of ball anymore. We need a rebuild. We need picks. Lonzo Ball playing on a dead man's knee. That is an incredible. That will radically change sports surgeries. If Lonzo Ball is able to go the full season, and he has, he's great. I mean, he's management and time management and all that kind of stuff, but he has been playing great. The knee is holding up. That in the future will radically change injuries. If this is now a thing where this works. So Lonzo Ball, incredible sports science story going on there. Then you got this one. It was back in August or September. This is September now. Ricky Pearsall of the San Francisco 49ers was going to an appearance in downtown San Francisco, and he was shot twice, once in the shoulder, once in the chest. He's an NFL football player. Camp is going on. He's in camp. This is in the middle of camp. Gets shot twice. Ricky Pearsall went off for like 180 yards the other day. This is amazing. This is an amazing San Francisco 49ers wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall. Last night, Ricky Pearsall shot in the chest twice. Well, I guess once in the shoulder, once in the chest. Shot twice 5 months ago, and is playing out of his skull in the NFL just a couple of months later. It's just unbelievable. Lonzo Ball and Ricky Pearsall, two just incredible stories. Moving into October, we learned that Russia was paying a whole bunch of online trolls and podcasters and live streamers, paying them all kinds of money, big money, to the tune of over $100 million was funneled to different sites, most of it coming through this Liberty Media company down there in Nashville. The Christian Jesus people, completely funded by the Kremlin. All right, and they were completely funded by the Kremlin. They don't exist anymore because as soon as the world found out that they were funded by the Kremlin, they went away. They were funding shows like Tim Pool and Nick Fuentes, and a whole bunch of these people. I don't know, these people that I don't know. But yeah, so we now know that those people were all being propped up by Russian interests. Not Russian interests, the Kremlin. Not like, well, his name was Boris and he's a businessman, but he's not Russian. He lives in America. No. Media company in Nashville, Tennessee was completely funded by the Kremlin. It was a Kremlin operation. So we learned that. I had always had questions about, some of the success of some of these people and how they were propped up and how they were getting the kind of range that they were getting. And now I get it. It's because they had budgets. They had big budgets, and I've got no budget. I would love for Russian troll or the Kremlin to I would take their money. I mean, I would still do my show, but I figure it would be a couple of weeks before they really got mad. And I would demand like a big signing bonus. Like, you have to give me a bunch of money up front. So I would have that money up front. And then they'd realize, they're like, oh, you're not really, you actually hate Putin, don't you? And I'll be like, yeah, I do. And then I'll cash my checks and I'll wind up dead in a hotel in Atlanta. And people will be like, hey, did you hear Pugs? He died last night in a hotel in Atlanta. What happened? I don't know. What was he doing in Atlanta? I don't know. He died. And then it'll be like plutonium poisoning. That's how my little fantasy of being paid by the Kremlin to do live streams plays out. What else do we have here? All right. So also late August or late September, early October. Do you remember this story from Tennessee? The manhunt. Do you remember the sniper? We had a guy in Tennessee who was just shooting people on expressways. People just driving around. He's just shooting at people. I don't remember what happened with that. I should have more information. Also, early October, Tariq Hill got arrested on his way to a Miami Dolphins game. They pulled him out of the car. The video was, oh my goodness, incredible. Let's watch the video. Shall we be reminded of the Hill pulled over by Miami police on his way to a Miami Dolphins game? Here we go. Let's see what this is. Let's fast forward through this.
Yo, stay here, man.
Isn't this like Calais Campbell, I think?
Hey, what's his name?
So this is, these are a whole bunch of Miami Dolphins. Remember this from early. It was game one. It was the first week of the season. It was game one. Bunch of Miami Dolphins are driving to the game. They're pulling into their home stadium, and Tariq Hill gets pulled over, and it turns out, he gets yanked from the car and all that good stuff.
Tell him to stay here, bro.
So this is body cam video.
This is how to get in shape fast.
Yeah, great.
If you want to drop this, start eating more of these.
All right.
You might think that.
Oh, man. Here we go. Oh, yeah. So here we go. A little bit of this. A little bit of Tyreek Hill hanging out with the cop. Let's see how this went. It's for our own remembrance. Here we go.
So really, bro? Hey, can you take these off me, though? Please? Hey, you should have been here. You should have been here. What? Hey. I'm not playing today. All because of y'all. But I appreciate the check y'all gave me, though. I appreciate the check you gave me. Appreciate it. That's what you need it, man. You gotta be clear. I don't give a damn about none of that, bro. Hey. Hey, stay right there. Pull your camera out. Pull your camera out. Thank you, guys. They're arrested. Hey, thank you. They slammed me on the ground, bro.
All right, there you go. They slammed me on the ground, bro. Tyreek Hill detained. Opening week of the NFL football season. Let's see. What else do we have here? What else do we have? November. Let's move on. Oh. Got to talk about Ray Gun. Remember, we skipped over Ray Gun. Look at this. Remember her? Ray Gun. She's a nominee for Person of the Year. Ray Gun was the break dancer. There's no music here. I don't know why that is. Over the summer, Ray Gun. So you got Ray Gun. You got Hawk Tua. Sorry. Is it worse or better without music? I think without music, it's better. This is, of course, Ray Gun. She is the Australian entry for breakdancing at the Olympics. I mean, it's just... I don't know. There you have it. Ray Gunn. She's fantastic. Lady of the Year. She's retired, by the way. She doesn't remember. Okay, so here was the thing with Ray Gunn. Apparently, breakdance, like you would think you'd see Ray Gunn and you go, well, breakdancing must not be a thing in Australia if she's the one who won the country and is representing it, right? That's what you would think. But no, apparently breakdancing is very good in Australia. It's as good as it is anywhere. It's become a global thing. It's just that she isn't necessarily the best representation of how people breakdance in Australia. And that caused all kinds of blowback. And then there were reports that her husband was apparently one of the judges at a regional Australian tournament, and she got through based on his corrupt vote. Anyway, whatever. Ray Gunn was the best thing about the Olympics. Ray Gunn. It's the only thing you're going to remember. The only thing you people will remember from the 2024 Olympics is Ray Gunn, the Australian breakdancer. Ray Gunn. Let's see, what else do we have here? Are we in October? Yeah, okay, so we're in October. So it was in October that Diddy was actually, what is this? Is the Diddy story from October? Sean P. Diddy Combs is accused of, in one of two lawsuits filed Monday, of drugging and sexually assaulting a 10-year-old boy in the New York City hotel room. The second lawsuit accuses the jailed hip-hop mogul of similarly assaulting a 17-year-old. All right, so this is all Diddy blowback. We reported back in March when the police raided his house, and then we were all tracking his planes and all that. But what we missed when he got arrested. When did they arrest him? I think that was end of summer, maybe. All right, so whatever. In November, coming up on the end of the year, McDonald's had an E. coli outbreak. Do you remember? All their onions went bad and people started dying, and then nobody reported that story because McDonald's buys commercial airtime. That's what happened. That's what happened. McDonald's Corporation is one of the biggest purchasers of advertising in American television. And, bad story about your best advertiser. You're probably not going to hammer that on the 10 p.m. news, is my point. And that's the system that we've got. November also introduced us to Peanut the Squirrel. Remember Peanut the Squirrel? The state there in New York came and took Peanut the Squirrel. Peanut the Squirrel was a viral star. Peanut the Squirrel was somebody that people on TikTok enjoyed. And apparently some Karen or something called and said, he's got a squirrel and he's treating it like a pet. So, of course, our bureaucracy run amok, kicks in his door in the middle of the night like the stormtrooper bastards they are. And they take Peanut the Squirrel. Peanut the little cowboy hat wearing squirrel. And what did they do to Peanut? They set him free because you can't have an animal in your house. That's mean to the animal. That's the argument. No, they killed him. They killed Peanut. Peanut the Squirrel. Makes you wonder, man. I mean, we got a couple more stories that we need to mention here because November and January has given us a couple of people to be mentioned in our countdown of what we're going to call the person of the year. But Peanut the Squirrel is definitely. So we got Peanut the Squirrel. We got Hawk Tuah. We got Ray Gunn. I have skipped over so many RFK Jr. stories. RFK Jr. has definitely got to be one of the people of the year. I skipped over the bear story. I skipped over the brainworm story. I skipped over the he hated dog in Africa story. There was so much that I skipped over just because it feels political. But when we put this all together here at the end of the show, he's definitely going to be one of the nominees for Person of the Year. So Peanut the Squirrel makes their first appearance. Peanut the Squirrel, a nominee for Person of the Year. Hawk Tuah, a nominee for Person of the Year. Ray Gunn, Person of the Year. RFK Jr., Person of the Year. All right, let's keep going because we're about to meet two more individuals who could be Person of the Year. But first, we need to talk about another thing that happened in November. None of you people are worried about this anymore, although you probably should be. But again, they just happen, and then we get all spun up, and then they stop talking about it, and we forget about it, and it's fine. You do realize that there are still diseased monkeys running amok in the woods in North Carolina. Oh, yeah, back in November. 43 escaped North Carolina monkeys from some disease factory. I don't know what is that. It's probably not what it's called, but they have some disease factory there in North Carolina where they were keeping monkeys, and all the monkeys made a jailbreak. And now they're running around North Carolina having sex with your dog. And your dog licks your face. And that's how humanity ends. We still got these monkeys. They're still monkeys. They didn't catch all the monkeys. North Carolina monkey hunt still happening. The Menendez brothers, ladies and gentlemen, the Menendez brothers make their first appearance because it was in November when it was first announced that there's a good chance that they're going to be allowed to basically walk. And they are. Although it was a funny situation. See, here's why the Menendez brothers became so big the last quarter of 2024. Netflix put up a new mini-series about the Menendez brothers, and everybody was talking about it because it was very gay, very incestuous, very Ryan Murphy. It was, it was a Ryan Murphy thing, so you get what you expect. So we're watching the whole Menendez thing, but then the district attorney in Los Angeles, who is also apparently watching the Menendez thing, he holds a press conference and he's like, you know what? I kind of think that maybe they should be let go for time served. And everybody was like, what? Are you kidding me? You make a Netflix show about them and now they're going to get out of prison because of it? And by the way, for anyone who watched the Netflix show, there is nothing in that Netflix show that should make a reasonable person go, yeah, they're totally innocent. The Netflix show is pretty cut and dry that they did it. They're murderers. And the Netflix show also makes them out to be assholes. So I don't know. But the district attorney for Los Angeles said that he would be reviewing the case and that there was a strong likelihood, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it was the message that was conveyed that they were probably going to get out. Then the election happened and that dude lost re-election. So the new guy that was elected, the first thing that they asked the new guy was, hey, what are you going to do about the Menendez brothers? And he said initially, well, we're going to be looking at all of these situations case by case. I'm not all that familiar with it. A couple more weeks go by, and now he's right where the last guy was. I don't know. Apparently, he watched the Netflix series and is like, we need to let these handsome, incestuous brothers go. So there you go. The Menendez brothers, another potential people of the year for 2024. Hawk Tuah, Peanut the Squirrel, Ray Gun, RFK Jr., the Menendez brothers. We are looking for the people of the year. It was also in November when it started being reported. A story, by the way, that we're just being affected by here in the Dallas area. Both Luka Doncic and Dak Prescott's fiance were both robbed of tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff. There is a plague falling upon our wealthy athletes here in America in 2024 at the end of it. Our athletes are being robbed. And it all started with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. It's hard to say Patrick Mahomes' homes. It all started with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's homes being robbed while they played on like Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. And then a week later, a couple of basketball players in Milwaukee got robbed. And then there were some other players. And then all the way up until just this week, we've got a situation with Luka Doncic and with Dak Prescott. All the leagues, the NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA, they all issued warnings to their players saying, hey, we believe this is an organized crew, an organized crime outfit that is targeting professional athletes based on their schedules. And, there you have it. That all started in November. All right, here's another person we're going to mention. This is a person who came onto our radar screens in mid-November. I talked about her like every other show for like 2 weeks. And then we were all broadsided by some facts that none of us saw coming. I didn't see this coming. Ladies and gentlemen, November brought us Hana Kobayashi, Person of the Year nominee. Hana Kobayashi is the girl from Hawaii who had a once-in-a-lifetime trip to go visit her aunt in New York City. So she and her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, they bought tickets while they were still boyfriend and girlfriend. I love you. I love you. Let's go visit my aunt in New York. Gee, that'll be swell. So they buy these tickets and they decide they're going to go to New York. But, you buy your tickets months in advance, and they broke up in the meantime. Both decided they were still going to go on this trip. He sure as shit wasn't going to hang out with her aunt, but he was going to take the plane trip to New York and, figure out his own thing, visit some friends. So Hana Kobayashi and her ex-estranged boyfriend board a plane in Honolulu, land in Los Angeles. It's you got a connecting flight. Land in Los Angeles. The boyfriend gets on the connecting flight, ends up in New York, has a wonderful vacation. Hana Kobayashi walks out of the airport. Apparently now we know she missed her connecting flight. I don't know how she missed it. Her boyfriend made it. I mean, it's not like I missed it because my flight was late. Other people on your flight made their connection. She, as it turns out, was a little bit spun up about the fact that her boyfriend was there and some other things. Details coming. ... So Hana Kobayashi disappears and the whole country is like, where's Hana Kobayashi? The ghost of Nancy Grace. I don't even know if Nancy Grace is dead, but let's just call it the ghost of Nancy Grace was all in a tizzy. Hana Kobayashi is a beautiful missing young girl. We got to find Hana Kobayashi. And then, she starts tweeting her family, and her family gets the idea from these tweets that there's something wrong with her and that she might be in some kind of a danger. So now it's not just missing girl. Now it's missing girl who's desperately trying to tell us that and then she goes dark. Nothing. They hear nothing more from her. Her dad freaks out. Of course her dad's freaked out. Her dad's in Hawaii. He's like, I'm going to Los Angeles. I'm going to walk every ounce of that place. Every ounce. I'm going to walk every step of that place. I'm going to walk every inch of that place. There you go. That was good. I'm going to find my little girl. I'm going to bring her back. Her dad's over there for like 2 weeks walking around, holding these press conferences, doing these marches, organizing these searches. He's doing it all. Everything that a dad can do. He finally gets to the point where he's thinking this is never going to work. We're never going to find her. My baby girl is dead. He jumps off the hotel and dies. I don't know why I'm applauding that. Hana Kobayashi's dad. So upset that he can't find his little girl, he kills himself during the search. Hana Kobayashi pops up a couple of weeks later in Mexico saying, I was fine. There was no big deal. I just couldn't with you people. You people were blowing up my text. And I was on the plane with my ex-boyfriend. And it was weird. I couldn't handle it, so I just couldn't. Yeah, your dad's dead, you self-centered bitch. Hana Kobayashi, nominee for Person of the Year. Jay Leno in late November fell down a hill and we all laughed. That was funny. Remember Jay Leno? Then there's a big internet conspiracy. What was Jay Leno doing? Oh, shut the fuck up. Jay Leno's a workaholic. What was Jay? Of course, Jay Leno was going to walk from his hotel to like a wings restaurant. He was walking to a wings restaurant and he took a shortcut because he's an old man. You know what? Let's drop the old. He took a shortcut from his hotel to the Hot Wings restaurant or whatever, it was like a sports bar. He took a shortcut because it was like a mile down a winding hill, like a half mile or whatever, down a winding hill. It doesn't matter that he's old. He's a man. So he took a shortcut. That is not hard to believe. Do you know how many shortcuts I've taken? Do you know how many times I've stepped in mud up to my ankle because I decided that it was shorter to go this way? Of course he did. He took a shortcut. He fell down the hill. He banged his head. He's Jay Leno. Had the Wisconsin dad also. This is I don't even want to commit this guy's name to memory. Remember the Wisconsin kayaker? He left his family. We talked about this is all like recent stuff that we've talked about recently because this is now we're into like the last couple of months of 2024. Dad goes kayaking. He overturns the kayak in the lake. This is up in Wisconsin. He got a blow-up boat, jumps in a blow-up boat, paddles the shore, gets on an electric bike, rides 70 miles through the Wisconsin Northwoods in the middle of the night to Madison, Wisconsin, where he catches a bus to Detroit, where he catches another bus to Toronto, where, remember, his kayak is overturned in a lake in Wisconsin. He was like, hey, hon, I'm going kayaking in the lake. And now he's on a bus to Toronto where he gets to an airport, gets on a plane, and he leaves, and he sets up shop with some new chick in Eastern Europe. Well, of course, they found out that he was faking his own death. And so then he started doing the weirdest thing possible. He started communicating regularly with the police. Like he's in Eastern Europe, and he's like Zoom talking with the cops. And he's like, yeah, I'm here. This is Natasha. This is my hot ass 22-year-old Slavic girlfriend. I don't know. Anyway, that guy, he's not person of the year because that's such an asshole thing. He just fucking walked out on his kids and stuff. I mean, I know that's a Pugs. Really? You think that's a rarity? No, I know that happens a lot, but that is not. You don't get to be. You don't. Wisconsin dad. Let's see. What else do we have here? Keep going. Keep going. Okay, and now we just get into this month. So the stories of this month, early in the month, the very first thing that we dealt with in the month of December of this year was the big fight between Michigan and Ohio State. That was awesome. All you pearl clutching bitches, that was the best thing that happened in college football this year. Michigan and Ohio State threw hands after the game. It was amazing. And then, all right, December. There are two things that happened in December. Okay, here are the two things that happened in December. The United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, was shot by who we now know to be Luigi Mangione, but for a few days or weeks, I guess we didn't know. It was like a week before they caught him. Luigi Mangione, he is definitely a candidate for Person of the Year. So you got Peanut the Squirrel, you got Luigi Mangione, you got RFK, you got Hannah Kobayashi, you got Hawk Tuah Girl, we got Ray Gun, we got RFK Jr. Those are our nominees for Person of the Year. Now, why on earth would you, Pugs, be naming Mangione? Why would you be naming him as a Person of the Year? Because he is certainly one of the most provocative actor of the year. Without question, what he did was the most provocative act that any single individual, at least as far as we, the great unwashed, have been talking about it and this and that. That's worthy. You know, what you think about that act is exactly why he is worthy, because we all think different things. We are having a national conversation right now about the situation with Luigi Mangione. And this is why I think in 2025, or possibly even into 2026, however long they delay this court case for, it will once again be the story of the year at some point. This trial is going to be huge. The trial of Luigi Mangione. This dude is working. I think there's a very good chance that he is going to defend himself. Pugs, only idiots defend themselves. No, yeah, that's legitimate. He's not an idiot, though. He's an incredibly smart, articulate, well-studied, and researched individual, and I don't think that he wants to defend himself in order to possibly get himself off. He did almost nothing to try and cover up the fact that he is responsible. I believe that he wants to defend himself because he wants to be the one on record saying the things that are going to be said about the motivation behind why the United Healthcare CEO had to die. It is going to be a big moment. His side of it, not funneled through an attorney, through the actual killer himself. And in this particular case, we know that this killer is not to be trifled with. This motherfucker dressed like Lee Harvey Oswald for his perp walk. This dude is like next level with everything that's going on. He ain't. I mean, he might be a little of that, but he's composed. Anyway, this crazy guy. All right, so who do we like? Who do we like here for Person of the Year? Let's do it. Let's bring it down, because the other big story was the drones. And you know what? I'd love to spend a whole bunch of time talking about the drones here on this year in review show, but nobody gives a shit about the drones anymore. They're still going on. Another example of our attention span. They're still going on. We got no answers. The United States government said, "You're crazy, you're seeing things." And we all went, "No, we're not." And they said, "Yeah, you are." And we said, "Maybe we are. I guess we are seeing things. Merry Christmas. What are you doing for New Year?" You know? And so now we don't care. We don't care that these things are still going on, flying over military bases and stuff. We lost interest. Ladies and gentlemen, we've officially lost interest in 2024. That is the year in review. How exciting. That's it. So who do you like for Person of the Year? I'm telling you. Okay, so the Person of the Year, Hawk Tuah Girl, Luigi Mangione, RFK Jr., Hannah Kobayashi, Ray Gun, RFK Jr., and Peanut the Squirrel. There you go. Those are your candidates for Person of the Year. Peanut the squirrel, he's not even a person, so he's got to go. RFK Jr., that's political, so he's got to go. Hannah Kobayashi just sucks. I want to forget about her as soon as possible so she can go. So this is coming down. I got to be honest with you. All right, I'm going to streamline it here. Person of the year is coming down to Luigi Mangione, Hawk Tua Girl, or Ray Gun from the Australian breakdancing team. Ladies and gentlemen, your rant with me, Pugs Moran, 2024 Person of the Year, Luigi Mangione. Sorry, he got in at the tail end. And here's why he's the Person of the Year for 2024, because I think that when you consider his competition here, with the exception of RFK Jr., who we might be talking about for years to come, we're never going to talk about Hawk Tua Girl again. We're never going to talk about Ray Gun again. We're never going to even hear about Peanut the Squirrel again. But Luigi Mangione, as I said, I think he's going to be a big topic of interest for years to come. So there you go. It's going to be our Man of the Year. I got a list of deads here that I wanted to close today's shows with. I thought maybe we could do a Where Did They Go? Heaven or Hell with some of the noteworthy deaths of 2024. Hold on. Let me see if I can update this. All right, let's do this as a list. Oh, look at this. Deaths in 2024. There's an entire Wikipedia page for this. Oh my God, Wikipedia is so great. Let's see here. The following notable deaths occurred in 2024. Names are reported under the date of death. Let's just run through these. I don't know any of them. Oh my God, this is insane. There are so many. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done Wikipedia because they're giving me like disc jockeys from Zimbabwe, right? I'm like, I can't mention them on the show. Aaron Brown, the nerdy guy from ABC News. He died. News guy who went to hell. Jimmy Carter. All right, I'm putting Jimmy Carter in heaven. I know what you're saying. You're like, Pugs, but he's a politician. Yeah, but the shit that he did after being president, he'd talk about a guy who just tirelessly gave every waking moment, every bit of influence that he had on doing good. Not political, just doing good, just improving the lives of the people in front of him. And that, the message of Jimmy Carter, is all we can do. Stop putting off doing good works today because you've got a grand plan of how you're going to change the world. Change the room you're in. Start right there. Change the room you're in. Be a positive influence. That's who Jimmy Carter was. So yeah, Jimmy Carter, who just died a couple of days ago. Goddamn right, he's going to heaven. Died yesterday. This is a good one. Died yesterday. Alice, she's an actress. Linda Lavin. Linda Lavin died in 2024. She definitely went to hell. All right, let's go. Let's see more. Let me see more. Give me some of these. Bump, 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 bump. This is, by the way, not by month that they died. This is just, or maybe it is by month that they died. Holy shit. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do this. Do this page. I'm going to have to do a different page. Let's do one that's a little bit. Wikipedia is way too thorough with all. I think that page might actually have literally everyone who died in 2024. All right, let's go through it this way. Will this be better? Oh, shit. Well, that's on page is unavailable now. My backup page is unavailable. I don't want to go through this. I don't want. All right, 2 days ago. Here we go. We'll try this one. Notable deaths in 2024. This is a list compiled by CBS. Are we going to get? Don't. Oh, shit. Did your page ever do that thing where you're not scrolling down, but the page just suddenly scrolls down on its own and it takes out? That just happened to me. All right, notable deaths in 2024, according to CBS. Here's what they got. Of course, they start out with Jimmy Carter because he just died. They also gave us Linda Lavin Alice. We've already done that. Greg Gumbel, we talked about him the other day. Oh, apparently we're working backwards. Ricky Henderson. All right, let's go. All right, let's do it this way. Where did Greg Gumbel go? Heaven or hell? Greg Gumbel went to... He's fine. He went to hell. Ricky Henderson went to hell. Okay, so Greg Gumbel is in heaven. Ricky Henderson went to hell. Jim Abrams, television creator. He made a lot of great TV. He went to heaven. Nope, don't like her. Not pull up politician. I'm not naming politicians. Never heard of Judith Jameson. Quincy Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Quincy Jones. That dude was amazing. He's one of them dudes. Quincy Jones went to heaven. Absolutely. Let's see here. Who else died? Deaths of 2024. Terry freaking Garr. Heaven all day long and twice on Sunday. Terry Garr. You know what? Maybe I'll just scroll. I'll let you guys see what I'm scrolling here because they're showing some really nice pictures of these people. Maybe the pictures will help. Yeah, we'll do it this way. Let's see. Isn't this better? Now you can see who I'm scrolling and who I skip, more importantly. All right, let's see here. Who else? Deaths of 2024. Phil Lesh of the Grateful Dead. And rock star. Probably went to hell. Ron Eli. Who's Ron Eli? I don't know who he is. We're skipping him. Putting him in hell. If I don't know you, you're going to hell. Fernando Valenzuela left us in 2024. Certainly when we were talking about the best baseball pitchers still alive, he was at the top of that conversation. A lot of guys there to be considered as well. Sandy Koufax, he was still alive. Nolan Ryan is still alive. But Fernando died just a couple of months ago. This is a big one for me, Baseball Johnny. I loved Fernando. Fernando Valenzuela. Put him in heaven. El Toro. Linda Obst. Don't know who that is. I'm not sure. I'm going to put her in hell. Mitzi Gaynor. She's like someone who your grandparents probably enjoyed. I don't know anything about her, so we're going to put her in hell. Liam Payne, the kid from One Direction. He was a grown man. He was in his 30s. Got totally fucked up and fell off a balcony or jumped off a balcony, whatever. We're not sure. We may never know. I certainly may never know because I don't care that much. Liam Payne, putting him in hell. Here's why I'm putting him in hell. He had the world. He had the whole world. He's a member of One Direction. My God, he could have just stopped. He could have just stopped and done nothing, bought a country manor house, maybe ran a pub in town, and he could have had a bag of $100 million. He was in, but no, he needed to keep being the rock star and partying in Brazil and doing, concoctions and whatever. Liam Payne, he's in hell. Let's see here. Ethel Kennedy. I don't know who she was a Kennedy, but which one is she? She RFK Jr.'s. Yeah, I think she's RFK Jr.'s mom. Wait, I don't know what that means. She's a Kennedy mom. She's Kennedy mom. Kennedy moms go to heaven. There you go. Kennedy moms go to heaven because there's so much tragedy in the Kennedy family. That's my rule for right now. Who else? Lily Ebert. Never heard of her. Sissy Houston. All right, so she was a soul singer, a gospel singer. She was Whitney Houston's aunt. There you go. Aunt Sissy. She was famous before Whitney Houston. Oh, John Amos. Holy shit. I'm watching my re-binge of The West Wing. John Amos, of course, famously played, he played Good Times. He played the dad in Good Times. But he also played Admiral, why can't I think of his name right now? He was so badass. He was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on The West Wing. And he died. And I'm at the episodes right now where he died. He gets killed in a roadside bombing incident somewhere in Gaza. He's there on a peacekeeping mission. He's just there as a diplomat, but his car is blown up. John Amos, I'm putting him in heaven. Fitzwallace, Admiral Fitzwallace. That's who he was. I can hear President Bartlett calling him right now. Fitz, what do you think? John Amos was awesome. We lost him this year. We lost him in August of this past year. Who else? Dikembe Mutombo. He's in heaven. He did a lot of really good stuff. Not stuff Americans care about, but really good stuff for like the people of Africa and, you know, all that. So he's definitely in heaven. He died in September of last year. Pete Rose. Whoo! The haircut. Charlie Hustle. Case can be made for one of the greatest baseball players that has ever played. Nobody played harder. Nobody had better results through hard work and just pure grit than the great Pete Rose. Oh, he's in hell because he was by all estimates, he was a dick. But yeah, he's dead. Anyway, Pete Rose is dead. Now here we go. Chris Christopherson. He's in heaven. He's in heaven. He's in heaven. He's right here. This is him. He's in heaven right here. When you go to heaven, you walk into this room and there's all these people hanging out and you look over in the corner and this is where Chris Christopherson, this is him right now. This is how he looks. Because when you go to heaven, you look your best. You look whatever it was at your best. And I got to imagine this was prime Chris Christopherson, sexiest man alive era. Chris Christopherson is one of them dudes. I cannot talk about this enough. People who don't know what he was or what he did, you need to learn. The man was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was in college for football. He's a football star. He's a Rhodes Scholar. His father was a general in the United States military. He was raised in a military home and he was raised in military schools and all that. Went to Oxford on a Rhodes Scholarship. Rhodes Scholar. Then because of his father and because of what was happening with the Vietnam War, he joined the military, became a helicopter pilot, became a combat helicopter pilot in Vietnam, won a whole bunch of medals. Then after the war, he went back and he was given a position as a professor. After the Vietnam War, he was assigned, because Chris Christopherson was a genius. After the Vietnam War, he was assigned to West Point, where he was hired as an instructor. He was a professor at West Point, Chris Christopherson, this guy right here, teaching, military strategy and all of this kind of stuff. He walks away from West Point, which would have turned into a career, a tenured position. I mean, he was on his way to being a general, just like his father. He walked away because he wrote a lot of poetry and he wrote songs and he wanted to give that a try. And he knew that he could always fly helicopters and he could probably always go back to West Point and, all that stuff. So he moved from West Point, where he was a professor, to Nashville, where he became a janitor at a recording studio. Why? So that he might, on an off occasion, bump into somebody that he could pitch one of his songs to. Well, he did. That somebody was Willie Nelson, and the rest is history. Chris Christopherson died this year. He is one of them dudes. September 28th, 2024. Who else died in 2024? Maggie Smith. She was an old English lady. She was an actress. She probably went to hell because she was an actress. And I don't really have any kind of thought on Maggie Smith, so we'll keep going. 2024, we lost both John Amos and James Earl Jones. Two guys that, around about 1983, I probably couldn't tell the difference between. They were like two. There was when I was a kid growing up, there was only a handful of black dudes who were allowed to be famous. James Earl Jones was one. John Amos was one. Ben Vereen was one. LeVar Burton was another one. This was before Denzel. We didn't have Denzel. We didn't have all the Jamie Foxxes and the Kevin Harts, and we didn't have that. Sidney Poitier was still around. Harry Belafonte was still around, but that was it. So you're telling me that 2024 is the year that I lost two of the iconic cornerstone black dudes from my life. Think about it. Think about the way I was raised, where I came from. I came from a very all white. There was one black kid in my whole high school. People were blown away by that. Wait, what do you mean? You were on the south side of Chicago? I'm like, yeah, there was only one black kid. And he was only there for like 1 year. Yeah, that was my high school. Very segregated. Chicago was very segregated. Everybody was white, Catholic. Everybody was Catholic. There was nobody in like my entire neighborhood that wasn't Catholic. That's not true. My friend Jay was Jewish. He was like the one Jewish kid. He took hell. Oh my God. There was a stupid Jew. I mean, playground all the time. He was cool though. He was my friend. Anyway, my whole idea of what Black America was in the car, in the back seat with the windows rolled up and the doors locked when we took a shortcut through the South Side, because that's where we lived. The no-go neighborhoods, if you will. That was it. I saw that. I saw all of that. And then, in movies and stuff, the 70s and stuff like that, the depiction of Black characters on TV was always, the pimp or the gang member or the criminal. It's really how it was. So outside of all of that, the only thing that I really had was James Earl Jones, John Amos, LeVar Burton, and they were my guys. They're the reason I'm not racist. The reason I am not a racist is because I like James Earl Jones and John Amos. 2024 took both of them from us. That's too bad. Both are in heaven. I'm putting them both in heaven. I'll not have it. James Earl Jones was freaking Darth Vader. And yes, that's an argument that he shouldn't go to heaven. But no, he's going to heaven. Sergio Mendes. I don't know who that guy was. He was a musician. Phil Donahue, one of my favorites. Well, we lost Phil Donahue in 2024. Phil Donahue. He's definitely in heaven. Let's see. Who else? Elaine Delon. Don't know who that is, and neither do you. Stop acting. Jenna Rollins. She was an actress. She's in hell because she's an actress. We're running through the list of dead people. Wally Amos. Oh, my God. A bad year for iconic Black dudes from my childhood. James Earl Jones, John Amos, and Wally Famous Amos. Famous Amos died. You remember these cookies? Remember how weird Famous Amos cookies were at first? Like at very first, the first time you saw Famous Amos cookies in a store, before you tasted them, because they were fucking great. But before you tasted them, the first time you saw Famous Amos cookies in a store, you were like, what kind of bullshit is this? What is this nonsense? Some dude in the trunk of his car selling chocolate chip cookies. You expect me to eat it? That was because they came in a little paper bag and it was all like hand done. It looked like is there weed in this? There's weed in this, right? Look at this guy. This is ganja cookie, right? Hey, probably went to hell. I don't know what Famous Amos's story is, but I'll tell you, I'm the guy to write the movie about him because I think that might be a fun movie. It would be fun. You could also introduce Mrs. Fields. Like, Famous Amos and Mrs. Fields had some paths crossings. Whose cookies were better, Mrs. Fields or Famous Amos? I don't know. Have no idea. Famous Amos died in 2024. Also dead in 2024, John Mayall. John Mayall, Blues Breakers, right? Isn't that who he was? He was like, we talked the other day about guitar players. There is no such thing as the greatest guitar player of all time. There are probably 100,000 people who currently play guitar who are at the same technique level. And there are good guitar players everywhere. John Mayall is a great example of a guy that no one ever thinks of. British blues musician and songwriter John Mayall died in July of 2024. John Mayall. Sheila Jackson, I don't know who she is. Oh, she's a congresswoman, right? Newhart, big one. Newhart's in heaven. I love Bob Newhart. I tried to get my kid. When Bob Newhart died, I was with my kid. And like, you got to know who this is. So like we pull up some YouTube videos and man, I'm like watching Newhart going, Jesus, look at this guy. This is one of the great comic deadpan performers in the history. He is so funny. He is creating this tension with his own reserved sort of natural. That was Bob Newhart's thing. He was reserved and he was trying to deal with a chaotic outside world. That was always Bob Newhart's thing. He was the normal one and he was revealing to us all how fucked up the entire world is. That was his genius. My son didn't get it. My son was like, what? It's kind of slow, Dad. Does he get kicked in the nuts at any point? No, he doesn't. There's no nut kicking humor with Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart went to heaven. Bob Newhart, a mammoth presence in the history of American comedy. A style of comedy that very few people can do. And he was absolutely the best at it. Bob Newhart. Bob Tischler, I don't know who that is, so I can't weigh in. Richard Simmons, oh my God, after months and months of rumors of him being dead, Richard Simmons finally did die in 2024. Let's see. Oh, Shannon Doherty. She's an actress who is well known to be a bitch, so she has to go to hell. But this one kind of hurts. Shannon Doherty, she's a Gen X princess. She is a sad one. She battled cancer, and she lost her hair, and she was so beautiful. I mean, Shannon Doherty was hot, man. She was hot. That's unfortunate, but she's got to go to heaven because she was an actress. And even while she was an actress, she was known to be a difficult actress. Dr. Ruth, sexy time. Dr. Ruth, putting her in heaven. I don't know who Bill Viola is. Neither do you. Shelley Duvall. We lost Shelley Duvall. She's an actress who should go to hell, but I'm putting her in heaven because I just like Shelley Duvall. She seemed like such a sweet, innocent spirit. Not conniving and evil like most actresses. Shelley Duvall's going to heaven. There she is. Who's this? Robert Towne. The screenwriter Robert Towne. Last Detail, Shampoo, Chinatown. Fucked up. All writers also go to hell. Writers go to hell. Martin Mull. Oh, this dude was a baller. I love Martin Mull. He's in heaven. God, a lot of cool people died this year. That happens every year, though, right? I guess that does. Who was the biggest one? Who's the biggest person to die? Is it always the guys who get in at the end? Like Jimmy Carter? Like, that's a big one. Former president's a big one. Kinky Friedman, the Texas Jew boy. A great man. Definitely going to heaven. I was like, he's going to hell. No, Kinky Friedman went to heaven. Because his motivations, albeit provocative as hell, he was a good man. Kinky Friedman. Who's this guy? Donald Sutherland died this year? I didn't know about this. Donald Sutherland. Weirdo. We're putting him in hell. I think he was bad with Kiefer. I think he was a bad parent. I think there's stuff there about him being not great. Say, hey, Willie. Certainly at the time of his death, there was no question he was the greatest living baseball player in the history of the game. There he is, the Say Hey Kid. Willie Mays, putting him in heaven. I love baseball. That's why he's going to heaven. William Anders. I don't know about William Anders. Who that is. Richard Sherman. He's certainly not the football player. Caleb Carr. We're going to run through a bunch of these. Dabney Coleman. We lost Dabney Coleman. Dabney Coleman goes to heaven. Let's see what else. Is that it? I think that's not it. Oh my God, there's a whole bunch more here. But why won't my page download? Roger Corman died this year. All right, you know what? We can be done. We're going to be done with the dead list. I've lost interest. I can only imagine that you guys must have lost interest. I'll tell you, I've been saving this for last. We'll go out on this. The story of the year for me, you got the Mangione, the election, and, Hawk to a girl and all of that stuff. Story of the year for me, the one that, because it's taken the whole year and we've been giving you updates, and I set this aside for the end because it was every couple of weeks I was doing another story on this situation. And it's these sneaky stories that they don't go away and they're going to keep going. This story's going to roll right into 25. For me, the story of the year of 2024 is the Starliner crew. There has been a crew. This was back in June. In June was the first time the story that they blasted off. And the story that I read earlier this morning about from that day, the day that they blasted off, was this is Boeing's attempt to make the good press, and they're going to show that they're worthy of government contracts, and it's they're competing with SpaceX, and it was all this hype for the Starliner crew. And it was a great thing. It was it worked. And they got up to the ISS and the new Boeing Starliner, and they got out, had dinner, whatever. I don't know what they do up there. And they went to get back into the car and it wouldn't start. They have been stranded on the space station ever since. Every couple of weeks, there's a new story about, we're going to get them home. Elon Musk was going to get them home back in August. He was going to retrofit something, but it turned out the spacesuits aren't compatible. The spacesuits that they're wearing aren't going to plug into the Boeing spacesuits don't plug into the Elon Musk SpaceX spaceship. So, so they're like, I guess that's not going to work. So now it's like we're looking at Valentine's Day. It's like now they're going to be up there till Valentine's Day. That is, for me, that is the story that as I was putting this show together, that's the one that kept popping up over and over again. Guys, I think that's going to do it. We're going to end the show here. We'll be back. We won't have a show tomorrow, but we will be back tomorrow. I don't even know. You guys, I don't know what day of the week it is. Hasn't it been a weird couple of weeks? Honestly, it's Tuesday, right? Okay, so we're not going to be here Wednesday. We will be back on Thursday. And that's it. I want you guys to have a good weekend or a good. It's like a week. See, I don't even know what is going on here. Is it Friday night in my head? It should be. It's like. Once again, I want to thank all of you folks for helping us get through another year. I'm not even going to waste time with the pandering for tips or anything like that today. I appreciate you guys, the executive producers of today's show. You, all of you. What else do I need to say? I don't know. Happy New Year to you, CC. Yeah, everybody stay safe. Nobody needs to go out. We don't need to go out. You guys going out? You got plans? What are your New Year's Eve plans? It's too late. It's too late. If you don't have New Year's Eve plans by today, you're done. You're done. All right, guys, have a great New Year's. We here at Radio Misfits Dallas, we are looking forward to big things in 2025. We thank you for your support here in 2024. And so what did we settle? What did I settle on? I think Luigi Mangione is the guy of the year. I think the story of the year that I was most obsessed with was the Starliner and the drones, right? I guess that could be it as well. And 2024 is always going to be the year that my partner Kelly Moore passed away. So, this year kind of sucked. It doesn't matter what else good happened, that occurred in August and kind of overturned the whole fucking year in my memory. So 2025 will be good. You ever hear the story about the optimist and the pessimist? Pessimist is walking down the street and he's saying, they're going to a New Year's Eve party. And he says, I'll tell you, 2024, glad it's over. 2025 couldn't be any worse, says the pessimist. The optimist turns to him and says, oh, hell yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. You guys have a good New Year's Eve, and we'll rally back here Thursday, right? All right, love you guys. Bye, everybody. That was awkward.